I got into a car crash on my way to get a divorce. When I woke up, I remembered everyone but her. When my sister slammed Chloe for being my girlfriend, yet not visiting me in the hospital, she heard me confusedly ask who Chloe was. My sister froze. What do you mean? You don't know who Chloe is? Seeing me shake my head in even more confusion, she instantly jumped up from her chair and frantically pressed the call button. 10 minutes later, after the doctor's checkup, though my body was fine, my hippocampus was damaged. I lost some memories. My sister turned to me and finally choked out. How old are you this year? 23, Mia. How could you forget that? She was shocked again. She realized my memory had regressed by 2 years. But the next second, it dawned on her. Wasn't this the perfect chance to save her brother? She coughed and warned me seriously. That Chloe I just mentioned is a total jerk. Rotten to the core. If you ever see her, stay as far away as possible. Got it. I didn't quite get it, but I nodded blankly. Discharged days later, Mia took me back to the Hayes estate. Though I'd been away for 2 years, my memory had just rolled back by 2 years, so I remembered none of that. I hopped out and ran inside like I never left. Seeing my mom watering plants in the garden, I hugged her from behind. Mom, I'm home. Why didn't you visit me these past few days? Mom already knew about my amnesia from Mia, so my mom, who rarely went out, had come to the garden early in the morning. But her mind wasn't on the flowers at all. The maid nearby kept shouting, "That's enough, ma'am. You'll drown them." Hugged by me now, her eyes instantly welled up. She rubbed my head. Your sister didn't tell me. Be a good boy and go inside. Your favorite desserts are ready. I happily agreed and dashed straight into the villa. Mom watched my back with mixed feelings. After a while, she turned, her tone turning cold. Wipe Ethan's medical records. Don't let Chloe find him. It's best they never meet again. Understood. Now her son finally didn't have to deal with that toxic woman anymore. He was back to being the young master of the Hayes family. In the towering Vance Tower, the CEO's office on the 66th floor was dead silent. The air felt so thick it was hard to breathe. Chloe looked up at her assistant. Her tone and gaze were both calm, yet it gave off a chilling vibe. Are you saying after all this time you found nothing? The assistant didn't dare to breathe. Sweat dripped down his forehead. Yes, Ms. Vance. Mr. Hayes seems to have vanished into thin air. Chloe narrowed her eyes. Do you think a person can just vanish? The assistant didn't dare reply, because he hadn't found a single trace of me. Keep looking. Wiping his cold sweat, the assistant backed out. Chloe felt inexplicably annoyed. She got up and grabbed her blazer. I'm going home. The villa was just as dead silent. Chloe vaguely remembered that when she occasionally came home, the hall always had warm yellow lights, and I would always be curled up on the couch waiting for her. But now it was pitch black. Chloe reached out and turned on the lights. As the light suddenly flared, she closed her eyes uncomfortably. Then she opened them to an empty room. No one was waiting to take her coat anymore, or to prepare a table full of food. She pressed a hand to her chest. It was the first time she felt this house was so cold. Meanwhile, after resting at home for half a month, being weighted on hand and foot, I felt like I was going to mold. Mia had pretty much wiped all my traces. Feeling bad for me, she said, "Why don't you go out and have fun?" My eyes lit up, and I immediately called my buddy. Lucas was quite surprised to get my call. What made you call me? I was sitting in a rocking chair in my garden, kicking my feet up in the sun. Asking you out to play. Lucas found it even weirder. Though we kept in touch these past 2 years, I never initiated hanging out. I always said I had to cook for Chloe or something. I couldn't go 3 sentences without mentioning her. Lucas asked tentatively, "Where to?" "A bar." To his surprise, I readily agreed. "Sure." Lucas waited for me at the bar entrance. Soon, a black Maybach pulled up in front of him. I stepped out in a hip-hop outfit. Seeing Lucas at the door, I pulled down my shades and smiled. "I'm here." Lucas stood frozen. Did Ethan take the wrong meds? Wasn't he playing the family man for that woman? This outfit screamed he was here to pick up girls. "You sneaked out today? What about your—" "My what?" My sister urged me to come out. "Oh, forgot to tell you. I got hit by a car and lost 2 years of memory." Lucas's eyes widened in disbelief. No wonder. Suddenly hit him. This meant I forgot about that jerk Chloe. That's great news. He threw an arm around me, practically ready to set off fireworks. "Let's go. I'm thrilled today. I'll show you a good time." We walked into the bar. The drum set on stage was empty. It looked a bit quiet. Lucas raised an eyebrow at me. "Wanna play a beat? I'm gonna go dance." He paused before leaving. "Still remember how to play?" I smirked and snapped my fingers. "Watch me." Chloe saw this exact scene when she stepped into the bar. On stage, I looked wild and carefree. I skillfully beat the drums in front of me, radiating a soaring sense of pride. Chloe stopped in her tracks. The person next to her saw her face turn icy cold. They followed her gaze and stuttered in fear. "Isn't that your husband?" Chloe's eyes were cold. She had been looking for me for days. She didn't expect to see me in a place like this. Seeing Chloe walk to a booth with a cold face, the person followed and asked, "Chloe, aren't you going to him?" "He's not my husband. Besides." Her icy gaze fell on me. "I want to see what he's up to today." So the two sat down at the booth. Chloe kept watching the carefree me, feeling I was a stranger on stage. For over 2 years, I had always been quiet and submissive around her. But now, playing the drums, my expression was more vivid than she'd ever seen. Chloe suddenly tilted her head back and downed a glass of wine. "Over there." I finished playing and earned a round of applause. I smiled and looked around. Lucas was grinding with a woman on the dance floor. Guess he was too busy for me. I got up and left the stage. Someone nearby called out softly, "Hey, handsome." I didn't know if she was calling me, but I still turned to look. Her gaze was too flirtatious, making me uncomfortable. I frowned instinctively. "Can I help you, miss?" Stella studied me for a moment. "You look familiar." "Miss, that pickup line is too cliché." Stella didn't reply. She frowned prettily, then suddenly clapped her hands. "I remember who you are. You're Mia's little brother, right? You know my sister?" Stella stepped up, familiarly hooked my arm, and led me to a private room. "I'm Stella Quinn, your sister's frenemy. You don't recognize me?" I wasn't used to being touched by others yet. I frowned awkwardly and swatted her hand away. "Even if you're my sister's friend, keep your hands to yourself." "Oh, quite the attitude. Come have a drink with me." I wanted to refuse. Before I could react, Stella had already pulled me into the room. I was a bit wary. The next second, I saw her wave over 2 male models. One on each side. She hugged them both. I watched her coldly. "Does my sister do this too?" Hearing me finally speak, Stella waved the 2 guys away. Resting her elbows on her knees, she raised an eyebrow at me. "Wanna know?" She patted the seat next to her. "Come here." My face instantly darkened. I stood up and looked down at her. "If you keep acting like this, I'm leaving." Stella laughed and threw her hands up. "Okay, my bad. I'll stop, all right? I don't know if your sister has someone in her heart or what." "Anyway." Stella barely got 2 serious words out. Suddenly, the room door was kicked open. I was startled and almost cursed out loud. Stella also frowned, looking displeased. "Who are you?" Standing at the door was a woman with delicate features, but a face so cold it could turn into ice. Chloe walked in and stopped in front of me, her red lips pressed tight. "You've got some nerve." Not a word for days. Was she talking to me? Did I know her? Chloe's icy gaze lifted and swept over Stella. A hint of mockery flashed in her eyes. "Didn't expect you to run wild here." I instantly got mad. Who did she think she was? Coming in with that attitude. The problem was, I didn't know her. Stella frowned tightly and stayed silent. So what did the powerful heiress of the Vance family have to do with my best friend's little brother? Chloe's tone really pissed me off. My face turned cold too. "Miss, do I know you? Didn't your mother teach you to be polite in public?" As soon as I spoke, Stella, who was watching the show, suddenly laughed out loud. Chloe's face grew even colder. She didn't expect me to talk to her like that. Suppressing her towering rage, she stepped forward and gripped my wrist tightly. "Come with me." I was really mad now. "Are you crazy?" Chloe stopped abruptly. She looked sideways at me. Her cold eyes scanned me up and down. "Nice act. Keep it up later." I stared at her, speechless. At this moment, Stella, who had been quiet, spoke up. "Ms. Vance, you seem to be hurting my little brother." Chloe smirked. "What nonsense." "So, Ms. Quinn, are you interested in this kind of man too?" I forcefully shook off Chloe's hand. "Are you here just to act crazy? Cut the crap. Who are you to judge others?" Seeing things about to get out of hand, Stella quickly stood up, pulled me to her side and said, "Chloe. Hear that? He doesn't know you." I rolled my eyes at Chloe. So she was Chloe Vance. I couldn't help but recall Mia's words. Without thinking, I asked, "Are you that toxic jerk?" Chloe looked at me in disbelief. I raised an eyebrow. Seeing her face darken, I gave a fake smile. "No need to treat me like this. I really don't know you. I was in a car crash. I have amnesia." Chloe frowned, not fully buying it yet. But remembering how different I acted now, she seemed to believe it. Her gaze was cold and probing, but I faced it calmly. Soon, Chloe composed herself. Her voice was icy. "Amnesia is even better. Let's get a divorce tomorrow." The room fell dead silent. I paused for a moment. Stiffly and in disbelief, I pointed at myself. Me? Or her? Her obviously meant Stella. Stella immediately scoffed. I felt like I was struck by lightning. "What? I actually got married in the past 2 years?" my heart in my throat. I asked tentatively, "Do we have kids?" Chloe didn't answer. She just gave me a cold, mocking look. So I figured we probably didn't. I also realized this marriage wasn't a happy one. I didn't know how I spent the last 2 years. But my memory was still stuck in the past. Spoiled rotten by the Hayes family. Fearing nothing. When mad, I'd even yell at my sister. Let alone this woman who gave me attitude from the start. My face darkened too. Good. I'll go get the divorce tomorrow. Then I looked straight at her calmly. Good. I'll go get the divorce tomorrow. Then I looked straight at her calmly. I agree. You can leave now. Chloe's eyes grew colder. Hope you keep your word. Then she turned and left without looking back. While I was still thinking, Stella spoke up. Couldn't tell you were married. TCH, I'll be single again soon. Ms. Quinn, I'm gonna take off. I walked out of the room and took a deep breath. Putting today's mess behind me, I called Lucas and got his location. When I found Lucas, he was chugging drinks like crazy. I waved at him. Let's go. Lucas stood up, swaying. Leaving already? I went up to support him, gritting my teeth. Why didn't you tell me I was married? I thought you knew. Mia didn't tell you. Cursed Mia in my head again. She told me Chloe was a toxic jerk, but didn't tell me I married her. Lucas was wasted, so I took him straight to the Hayes estate. As soon as we entered, we saw Mia looking pissed, sitting on the couch with her legs crossed. Hearing us, she looked up. So you know how to come home. But seeing me holding Lucas, she froze. Why is he here? Panting, I tossed Lucas onto the couch. Lucas bumped into Mia. He frowned. Mia stiffened. She stiffly stuck out a finger and pushed Lucas's head to the other side. I went to the table and chugged a large glass of water, while bossing Mia around. Take Lucas to the guest room. Before she could speak, I suddenly turned around. My eyes were cold. I haven't settled the score with you yet. She instantly shut up. She turned and kicked Lucas's toe. My eyes were cold. I haven't settled the score with you yet. She instantly shut up. She turned and kicked Lucas's toe. Hey, can you stand? Lucas didn't reply. His eyes were closed, looking like he was about to pass out. Mia stood over him, looking down at him for a while. Finally, she sighed heavily and helped him into the room. I stood frozen. After a while, I snapped out of it. I rubbed my chin and smiled. Looks like something happened between these two while I was amnesiac. I went back to my room too. After a shower, lying in bed ready to sleep, I suddenly remembered my old phone. I got a new phone after the crash. The old one wasn't thrown away. It was in my drawer. I got out of bed and dug it out. I opened the gallery and stared at the last photo. A photo of a man hugging Chloe. I was instantly furious. What a toxic jerk. She actually cheated on me. The next morning, I woke up early and headed straight to City Hall. Chloe was on time too. You're punctual today. Cut the crap. Let's get this over with. With that, I walked into City Hall on my own. Chloe watched my back, frowning slightly. Last night, she had her assistant check. But no hospital had my medical records. They couldn't even find any info on the car crash. She stood there for a moment. Finally, ignoring the anomaly, she walked in too. The divorce went quickly. Soon, we walked out. I looked at the green booklet in my hand, speechless. While I was sighing, Chloe suddenly spoke coldly. Go back and pack your things later. Her bossy tone seemed like a habit, but I instinctively frowned. Just throw it all away. I don't care. Chloe's eyes twitched, about to speak. Her bossy tone seemed like a habit, but I instinctively frowned. Just throw it all away. I don't care. Chloe's eyes twitched, about to speak. But suddenly, a gentle male voice called out, Chloe. Chloe and I both turned to look. A man in a light blue shirt was walking toward us. Approaching, he gently wrapped an arm around Chloe's shoulder. Done? Let's go then. Chloe's expression visibly softened. Let's go. I watched silently from the side, seeing Nathan snuggling up to her. Humph. Shameless. I muttered softly. They didn't catch what I said, but it caught their attention. Nathan let go of Chloe and walked up to me. Ethan, I heard you lost your memory. Yeah. Nathan's smile widened. He stepped closer and whispered in my ear. But she's still mine. Then he stood straight, acting like nothing happened. You two enjoy your PDA at City Hall. I'm out. With that, I turned and left. Having not worked for 2 years, I had to go back to my old workplace to see if they were hiring. Entering the building, people who knew me greeted me. Ethan, you're back. I smiled and nodded. Hearing I wanted to come back, the boss was thrilled. That's great. We're hiring right now. And very few people apply for this job. Of course, you need guts to be a mortician. Can I onboard right now? Sure. Just worried about some office gossip. I don't mind. With my skills, that gossip will die down soon enough. So I did the onboarding paperwork right away. The boss gave me a new office. I spent the afternoon unpacking, carrying a pile of books back to the office. I saw the honor roll on the wall and I was on it. I looked up at the photo of my younger self and couldn't help but smile. By the time I finished, it was getting late. I stretched tiredly. I grabbed my suit jacket and draped it over my arm. Walking out lazily, I saw a sleek black Bugatti parked by the road. I glanced at it casually and looked away, not caring. As I stepped aside, I heard a respectful call. "Sir." There was no one else around. That sir had to be for me. I frowned and saw a man smiling at me. "Sir, Miss Vance needs you. She hopes you'll go back to the old estate with her today." The window rolled down, revealing the woman's flawless side profile. She looked at me coldly, as if she wasn't asking for a favor. I felt a bit mischievous. "First, don't call me sir. Second, if your boss wants something, tell her to come down and ask me herself." The assistant looked troubled. Just as he turned to speak to Chloe, she opened the door and stepped out. Chloe looked up at me. "Acting tough now, huh?" I glanced at her with a smirk. Just as I was about to speak, Chloe continued. "But I'm not asking for a favor. Grandma wants you to visit her." Seeing my confusion, she added flatly, "Grandma is old. I didn't tell her we divorced." "Fine, I'll go. Have your assistant drive my car. Otherwise, I can't get to work tomorrow." Chloe narrowed her eyes. I stared back. I bet she'd agree. Sure enough, Chloe jerked her chin at her assistant. I smirked and tossed the keys to the assistant. "The white Range Rover. Thanks." Then I opened the Bugatti's back door and ducked inside. The assistant held the keys. "Ms. Vance." Chloe was expressionless, her tone flat. I popped my head out and gave the assistant an address. Of course, I wasn't dumb enough to give her the Hayes Estate address. I just gave the address of my small apartment. Then I raised an eyebrow at Chloe. "Let's go." The window rolled up, hiding my face. Chloe let out a soft chuckle and got into the driver's seat. I felt great crossing my legs. Along the way, Chloe gave me a brief rundown of what I used to do when visiting the Vance family. It annoyed the hell out of me. I know, anyone can respect their elders. Chloe was really afraid I'd blow my cover. After all, the current me was completely different. But when she saw me wearing a soft smile, running up to her grandma and affectionately calling her grandma, she realized she was overthinking. I made the old lady laugh out loud. She couldn't hide her fondness for me. "Ethan, you haven't visited in so long. Don't you miss this old lady?" "No way, Grandma. I've just been too busy lately." She gently flicked my forehead. "Smooth talker. Go have some fresh fruit. Dinner will be a while." "All right." Just as I reached out, I heard a displeased voice nearby, sharp and sarcastic. "Eating without washing your hands? Who taught you such bad habits?" I pulled my hand back and turned. A wealthy lady was walking down the stairs. Her eyes were full of disgust and dislike for me. So I knew, the one in this house who hated me and forced me to quit my job was probably her. "Mom." Guessing who she was, I just nodded at her. Smiling at Grandma, I said, "Grandma, I'll go wash my hands first." Chloe stared at my back for a moment. She thought I'd treat her mom the way I treated her. Though Mrs. Vance disliked me, she saved face for Grandma. She just said flatly, "Isn't washing hands expected?" I came back and ignored Mrs. Vance completely. I chatted with Grandma the whole time. Soon dinner was ready. I helped Grandma sit down. Glancing at the dishes, my smile faded. I love spicy food, but this bland spread killed my appetite. I took a few bites and put my chopsticks down. Chloe noticed and frowned, but said nothing. Grandma, however, asked, "Ethan, why aren't you eating? You used to love this." My heart skipped a beat. I felt a headache coming on. I really didn't know how far I went. For this woman in the past, facing food I hated, could I still praise it? I must have been blinded by love. I must have faked it too well. I couldn't argue now. I just smiled. "I'm not hungry today. Grandma, I'm fine." After dinner, Chloe and I got ready to leave. Grandma was very reluctant to let us go. "Ethan, you're the grandson-in-law I chose. If you're ever wronged, tell me. I'll stand up for you. If she leaves you, that brat won't have it easy." Having lived most of her life, she could see through the kids' drama at a glance. Some things just can't be faked. I didn't say much, just smiled and agreed. "Okay, Grandma. Chloe treats me well. I'll visit you often." Just as we were about to step out, Mrs. Vance walked over and stopped Chloe. "Stay. I need to talk to you." Before Chloe could answer, I spoke up. "I'll get going then." Guessing her mom really had something important to say, Chloe gave up on leaving and told me, "Wait, it's too late. I'll have the driver take you." "Sure." I didn't look at Mrs. Vance once. After I left, Mrs. Vance called Chloe straight to her room. Out of sight, she no longer hid her disgust for me. "He was even ruder today. Who raised him?" Chloe frowned slightly. "Mom, what did you want to tell me?" Mrs. Vance dropped the subject and gave her a cold look. She turned and tossed her phone over. I just saw this. Look. Chloe picked it up and frowned deeply. They were photos of Stella and me at the bar that day. Some angles made us look really intimate. Chloe gripped the phone tightly. Mom, it's a misunderstanding. The photos are right here, and you call it a misunderstanding? Seeing her about to say more, Chloe placed the phone face down. Mom, we're actually divorced. Mrs. Vance froze for a few seconds, then rejoiced. Divorced? Since when? Mrs. Vance froze for a few seconds, then rejoiced. Divorced? Since when? A few days ago. Pleased with the answer, Mrs. Vance dropped the photo issue. And Chloe didn't really care much about the photos either. Until the next day when it suddenly trended online. A flood of hate comments poured in, all aimed at me. Mia usually scrolled her phone at breakfast. Today was no different. Sipping coffee with one hand, scrolling with the other. Suddenly, she saw the news and almost did a spit take. She called Stella immediately. What's going on with my brother? You don't mess with a friend's family. You've got some nerve. Stella was confused. But when she saw the photos online, she understood everything. She smirked. Haven't made a move yet. Can't say for the future, though. Mia instantly chewed her out. If you touch my brother, I won't spare you. Stella laughed it off, then suddenly remembered something. Before hanging up, she casually mentioned, I didn't expect your brother to be married, let alone to Chloe Vance. Mia froze. How do you know? Stella yawned lazily. Ran into them that day. She hung up. Mia then stormed straight into my room. I slowly opened my eyes. What's wrong? Mia shoved her phone in my face. Look for yourself. I woke up instantly. My face darkened as I read. By the end, I was furious. Who posted this? Mia's eyes were cold too. I don't know. But it's clearly targeting you. Stay out of it. I'll handle it. Hearing this, I locked the screen and looked up. I don't know who posted it, but it's clearly targeting you. Stay out of it. I'll handle it. Hearing this, I locked the screen, my eyes extremely calm. No need. I can handle it myself. Seeing me so sure, Mia had to nod. Fine. Come to me if you can't. I'm your sister. She walked out, then turned back worriedly to add, that Stella girl is no saint either. I smiled, got up to wash, and drafted a plan while brushing my teeth. My phone rang again. It was my boss. He sounded pretty stressed. Ethan, don't come to work for a while. The entrance is blocked. He paused, then asked, those photos online aren't real, right? I stayed silent for a few seconds. They're real, just bad angles. The boss was silent too, not knowing how to reply. Finally, he said, anyway, just stay home and lay low for a few days. Okay, I'll sort it out. Sorry for the trouble. Hanging up, I looked at myself in the mirror. My face was cold, my eyes as calm as a lake. I didn't expect Chloe to be so ruthless, throwing dirt on me just to marry that guy sooner. In that case, I won't hold back either. After washing up, I went down for breakfast as usual. I was so calm it gave Mia the chills. That afternoon, I turned on my old phone. I uploaded a picture. After a while, I posted a statement. I am currently divorced from Chloe Vance, CEO of Vance Group. The person in the photos is my sister's friend. The intimate poses are just camera angles. Please be informed. I attached a few photos. A divorce agreement leaving me with nothing, a divorce certificate, and finally, an intimate photo of Chloe and Nathan. Instantly, the online narrative flipped. Meanwhile, another post caught everyone's eye. Poor little brother. Being slandered like this. Though it sounded flirtatious, it clearly meant. Nothing happened between us that day. Chloe saw those two posts too. She also noticed the all-black profile picture and the completely wiped homepage. The only pinned post was clearing the air. That intimate photo of her and Nathan openly told everyone. The reason for our divorce. Chloe's red lips pressed into a tight line. She suddenly felt a suffocating tightness in her chest. Just then, her assistant ran in, looking frantic. Ms. Vance, the partner we just signed with suddenly pulled their funding. Vance Group stock is also dropping. Chloe's expression turned cold. Is the PR team on it? They're all on standby. The whole company was trying to salvage the crisis. But Chloe was clearly annoyed. She was about to say more, when the office door was pushed open again. Mrs. Vance walked in on her high heels. Looking furious, she slammed her bag on the desk. That Ethan Hayes. No mercy at all, pushing Vance Group into the storm. There's a mob of reporters downstairs. Since when do I have to sneak around to avoid people? He did this to us, Chloe, and you still defended him? Make him delete the post now. Mom, I didn't know about that photo. Thinking of Nathan's petty tricks. Chloe's face grew even colder. Mrs. Vance clearly realized what happened, and her tone changed. She tried to excuse Nathan. Nathan only took it because he loves you too much. Chloe cut her off coldly. Mom. The assistant held up his phone. He said fearfully, Ms. Vance, I can't reach Mr. Hayes at all. Chloe's face darkened further. Mrs. Vance got angry again. Who exactly is he? Did he marry you with bad intentions? At that moment, Lucas called me. First, he cursed Chloe out. Then he said, your sister invited Stella and me for dinner tonight. To celebrate your victory. I'll text you the address. I went to the address. Mia and Lucas were already there. Lucas was impatient. After waiting a while, he asked, why isn't Stella here yet? I was still grateful to Stella for speaking up for me online. So I just said casually, maybe she got held up. Let's wait a bit. But after a long time, Stella still didn't show up. I started to feel something was wrong. Mia, give her a call. Mia dialed Stella's number. It rang for a long time before she answered. Stella said something, and Mia's face instantly turned cold. She hung up. I asked, what happened? Mia stood up, grabbed her coat, and walked out quickly. To the hospital. Stella's brother got into a car crash. The next second, Lucas stood up too. He grabbed a confused me and rushed out. The Quinn family is complicated. I'll explain on the way. Mia drove. Lucas gave me a rundown of the Quinns. They're weird. They never liked Stella. After her brother was born, everyone treated him as the heir. Maybe because the adults played favorites so badly. Stella never really liked her brother either. Plus, her dad has been sick lately. They've been fighting over the heir issue. Her brother crashing now is not a good thing. When we arrived at the hospital, the in-surgery sign was still red. Stella sat outside, her hands clasped on her knees. Stella, what happened? How did he crash? After a few seconds, Stella spoke. Borrowed my car to go wild. Crashed. Hearing this, our hearts sank even more. Just then, the red in-surgery light went out. The doctor came out, took off his mask, and shook his head. We did our best. Stella's face went completely pale. I don't know how the Quinn family reacted when they arrived. Because I was called into the mortuary makeup room. This was my first task since returning to work. And it was Stella's brother. I did it very carefully. When I finished, he looked almost exactly as he did alive. Those who thought my skills had rusted. After 2 years off, all shut their mouths. The next time I saw Stella was at the cemetery. The Quinn family was crying their eyes out. Only Stella stood aside in black, expressionless. Her mom cried so hard she almost passed out. After crying, she lunged at Stella, punching her repeatedly. He's your brother. Stella swayed but said nothing, her eyes full of bone-chilling coldness and disappointment. Her eyes full of bone-chilling coldness and disappointment. Her sick dad came too. He looked weak, but seeing the emotionless Stella, he got furious and slapped her hard. You brat. You even killed your own brother. You're so ruthless. The crash was ultimately ruled as brake failure. Everyone thought Stella did it. Stella didn't move, taking the slap head-on. She stared intently at her dad. I'll say it again. It had nothing to do with me. Her dad punched her hard again. Stella swayed from the blow. She raised her hand and wiped the blood off her lips. I couldn't watch anymore. Plus, my success last time was all thanks to Stella. So I stepped up, pulled her away, and said coldly to her dad, watch yourself, sir. We're in a cemetery. With that, I dragged Stella away. Mia tried to stop me, but I was too fast. She had to walk over to Mr. Quinn. My brother is spoiled. Please forgive him, sir. Because of Stella, she didn't look too kindly on her family either. Mr. Quinn's face was red with anger, his chest heaving. But considering my status, he just waved it off and said nothing. Over there, I pulled Stella under a tree. Seeing her slightly swollen face, I frowned. Why didn't you dodge when your dad hit you? Stella stayed silent. I checked her wound carefully. But somehow, I felt someone watching me. I looked around and my eyes stopped nearby. On Chloe, who was wearing a pitch-black dress. She was looking at us, her face icy cold. But it wasn't just Chloe. Nathan was beside her. She was looking at us, her face icy cold. But it wasn't just Chloe. Nathan was beside her. Wearing a black suit, his arm around Chloe's waist. I instantly gave a mocking smile. But to my surprise, Nathan walked over the next second. Ethan, I explained the photo thing to you before. I just love Chloe too much. I didn't mean to send it to you. He looked guilty, eyes downcast, acting all wronged. I stared at him coldly, then finally smirked. So what? I remember saying, I don't care about my old stuff or her. I looked at Chloe. Seeing her dark, cold face, I shrugged indifferently and suddenly smiled. Bro. Ever heard the saying? Trash belongs with trash. Nathan's face instantly changed. Then Chloe raised her hand and gently patted his back. Nathan looked wronged. Chloe. Chloe's face was cold. She didn't want to join our argument. She just said to Stella, Quinn Group is in your hands now. Looking forward to working with you. Stella's eyes turned cold. Vance and Quinn groups did a lot of business together. When her brother was at Quinn Group, he clashed with Chloe a lot. And Chloe was exceptionally cold-blooded and ruthless. Her brother always took a big loss. Now that she really took over Quinn Group, family issues kept popping up. Let alone the outside world. If Vance Group targeted Quinn Group now, she'd be defenseless. Thinking of this, Stella's face grew colder. Unlike Nathan, who only cared about romance, I thought a lot too. Finally, I just told Stella, "My sister and I will support you." Chloe obviously didn't know who my sister was. Just as she pondered, "My sister and I will support you." Chloe obviously didn't know who my sister was. Just as she pondered, I saw Stella's expression change. She patted my head. "Thanks, little brother." Her tone was incredibly intimate. I froze for a second. Then I figured she was just trying to piss Chloe off, so I played along. Watching this, Chloe's dark eyes turned icy cold. Just as she was about to leave with Nathan, Nathan suddenly said to me again, "Ethan, it's Mrs. Vance's birthday next week. She said I could invite some friends. Will you do me the honor of coming?" Vance Group would definitely send my family an invite. I didn't need Nathan's invitation at all, but I didn't want Chloe to know my identity just yet. Plus, I wanted to see what Nathan was up to, so I gave a fake smile and nodded. Sure. Next week came quickly. It was Mrs. Vance's birthday party. I didn't go with Mia. I just drove there myself. I wore a low-key black casual suit today. I gave off a strong aura. The moment I walked in, I drew countless eyes. Whispers around me fell into my ears. But my expression didn't change. Not far away, Nathan was holding Mrs. Vance's arm, smiling and chatting. Suddenly seeing I had arrived, a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. But he quickly hid it and asked softly, "Mrs. Vance, is Chloe not here yet?" "Not yet. She has work to handle. But she should be here soon." Knowing Chloe wasn't here right now, Nathan first breathed a sigh of relief. Then he looked in my direction again. He frowned, pretending to be confused. "Mrs. Vance, is that Ethan? Did you send him an invite too?" Mrs. Vance followed his gaze and saw me. Her happy expression instantly turned cold. "Why is Ethan Hayes here? Why would I ever invite him? He doesn't have an invite. Did he sneak in?" "Mrs. Vance." Mrs. Vance smirked coldly. "Go ahead, Nathan. Do whatever you want." "Got it, Mrs. Vance." When I saw Nathan walking toward me, I had just made eye contact with Mia. She gave me a look that said, "Don't cause trouble." I shrugged, and the next second Nathan was there. "Ethan, you don't have an invite. How did you get in? If you really wanted to come, you could have just told me." My face was calm, a sneer on my lips. Just as I was about to speak, a hand rested on my shoulder from behind. "He came with me. Want to see my invite?" I turned and saw Stella raising an eyebrow. She looked at Nathan with a half-smile. Nathan's expression stiffened for a second. The vibe got awkward. Then a cold voice cut through the silence. Ms. Quinn really turned the tide, saving Quinn Group from me. This week, Vance Group had launched an all-out attack on Quinn Group. She thought Stella was just a spoiled heiress, but she didn't expect her to repeatedly save the dying Quinn Group time and time again. Stella gave a clear fake smile. "Thanks for the compliment." Chloe walked slowly to Nathan's side. He immediately wrapped his arm around her waist. I scoffed coldly. It made Chloe glance at me. I didn't look away. My gaze was straight and calm. "Ethan, I misunderstood just now. Please forgive me." I didn't reply, because Stella scoffed and pulled me away. She led me to the table and handed me a glass of champagne. "Arguing with a guy like that? Aren't you afraid of losing face?" I took the champagne but didn't drink it. "He's gonna pull a stunt tonight, believe it or not." Stella clearly didn't care what Nathan would do. She smiled casually. "Is he even a threat to you?" I didn't reply. After a while, Stella went to mingle. Mia was also chatting with others. I got a bit bored, so I opened the back door and went out. The fountain in the backyard sparkled under the lights. Some guests who liked the quiet were chatting softly in the yard. I sat by the fountain and played on my phone. I hadn't been sitting for a few minutes when Nathan walked over. "Ethan, why aren't you inside? No one else is here. Just say what you want to say." Hearing this, Nathan dropped his smile. "You know what I'm gonna say. Since you're divorced, stay away from Chloe." I stood up, laughing so hard my stomach hurt. "Bro, are you out of your mind?" Nathan's face changed. Then he put on a pitiful look again. "Ethan, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have." He took a step forward as he spoke. Seeing his intention, a hint of coldness flashed in my eyes. I smirked disdainfully. I stepped slightly to the side. Nathan couldn't pull back his outstretched hand and leaning body in time. He fell into the fountain, making a huge splash. Nathan yelled, barely able to control his facial expression. He originally wanted me to fall in. The fountain water was freezing. His face instantly turned blue from the cold. People around all looked over. Nathan, with a pale face and trembling voice, cried out, "Ethan, why did you push me?" I watched coldly the whole time. My expression was as flat as if watching a boring comedy. Hearing the noise, people inside were drawn over too. Seeing the scene, Chloe's face turned bone-chillingly cold. As she rushed to Nathan's side, she heard him say that. Seeing Chloe, a pale Nathan reached out his arms to her. Chloe pulled him up from the freezing water. At the same time, she glared at me coldly. "Are you crazy?" She dropped that line, looking seemingly in disbelief. Then she hurried past me with Nathan. Ignoring the pointing fingers around me, I walked slowly inside. I walked to the main control console. Mrs. Vance stopped me with an ugly look on her face. "What are you doing now? Haven't you caused enough of a scene?" I turned a deaf ear and silently connected my phone to the computer. Mrs. Vance's face darkened again. Just as she was about to step up, Stella popped out of nowhere and stopped her with a smile. "Mrs. Vance." Soon, Nathan changed his clothes and came downstairs with Chloe. He came up to me, looking very wronged. "Ethan, did I do something wrong?" I blinked, put my index finger to my lips, and gently shushed him. "The show's starting. Watch quietly." Then the big screen flickered, and a video suddenly appeared. Nathan froze, then all the color drained from his face. On the screen was the scene by the fountain just now. Nathan trying to push me, but failing to stop and falling into the fountain himself. The footage was clear. At the very least, you could clearly see. I didn't even lift a finger. The crowd suddenly exploded in an uproar. Nathan's face was beyond terrible. Chloe walked over to me and gently grabbed my hand. "Enough. How is this enough?" I really wanted to ask. Compared to my 2 years of humble, people-pleasing marriage, how is this enough? But before I could speak, a wave of nausea surged up. I slapped Chloe's hand away and let out a loud gag. Seeing Chloe instinctively take a step back, I smirked playfully. "Ms. Vance, you'd better stay away from me. I'm allergic to toxic jerks." Chloe stared at me with dark, gloomy eyes. I took a breath, just about to recover, when I heard Mia's voice. She stepped up and supported me. "Ethan, what's wrong? Are you sick?" Probably from looking at an ugly woman. Beside us, Chloe's brow turned cold. She stepped forward. "Ethan Hayes, come here." Chloe's hand didn't even touch a hair on my head. My sister had already pulled me behind her. She looked coldly at Chloe. "Ms. Vance, you'd better stay away from Ethan." Chloe's eyes held a hint of coldness. "Ethan Hayes, I told you to come here." I gave Chloe a mocking look. "Chloe, where do you get the confidence to think you can just boss me around? We're divorced. Fix your attitude when you talk to me now." Chloe called me twice, but saw me staying put behind Mia. A nameless anger rose in her. Her face frosted over. "Divorced for just a few days. First Stella, now Mia. I never knew you had it in you. When did you and Mia start?" She was loud. People were already watching, and now everyone heard her. Nathan, who looked ready to pass out, stumbled over to Chloe. "Chloe, I was just talking to Ethan about this, because I found out he and Mia had an affair while you were married. I got mad for you and acted on impulse." I stared at Nathan mockingly. "Nathan, have some shame. Don't beg for another slap in the face." "Ethan, I didn't want to say it. Treat me however you want. But stop hurting Chloe." I walked up to Nathan. "My relationship with Mia didn't just start during my marriage. Since birth, Mia and I have been in the same family." As I casually dropped this fact, the room fell dead silent. Everyone exchanged looks. I crossed my arms, glaring at Nathan with disdain. "Are you saying I cheated on my wife with my own sister?" This was a total bombshell, shocking everyone. A few bold rich kids spoke up. "Mr. Hayes, did you get any assets from the divorce?" Arms crossed, my gaze swept past a pale Nathan and landed on Chloe's freezing face. I said calmly, "I don't care about the Vance family's pennies. She never planned to give me any anyway. But even if she did, I wouldn't take a single dime." Chloe's eyes grew even colder. Mia pulled me back, glaring sharply at Nathan. "Your words tonight are enough for us to sue you for slander. But I don't want your name tied to my brother's. You're not worthy. If you ever act up in front of him again, don't blame us for being ruthless." Mia dragged me away. The crowd sensibly made way for us. Even after we left, people were still gasping, as if it were all a dream. Meanwhile, on the 3rd floor, Stella leaned on the railing. Having enjoyed the whole drama, she chased after me through the crowd. The party went on. Nathan held Chloe's waist, his ears still ringing. "I didn't mean it. He misled me. He must hate us so much that he wanted to humiliate us in public, right?" Chloe felt extremely conflicted. As Mia and I left the venue, we heard a voice behind us. Wait up! Mia turned, shielding me with one hand and blocking the person with the other. Blocked. Stella threw her hands up and looked at me casually. You were amazing today. It's my first time seeing someone piss Chloe off like that and walk away unscathed. I glanced at her coldly. Do you have a grudge against Chloe? You seem thrilled to see her mad. Stella laughed. Not before. But who knows about the future? As she spoke, her starry eyes stared at me with a smile. Her stare gave me the creeps. I forced a smile. Mia, let's go home. Before getting in, Stella tried to sneak into our car. I quickly shut the door on her. She rubbed her nose and went to the front, only to be rejected by Mia too, so she gave up. The car drove smoothly back to the Hayes estate. I rested my chin on my hand, looking out. Meanwhile, the Vance family fell into an unprecedentedly heavy atmosphere. In the Vance living room, Chloe and Nathan sat on the couch. Mrs. Vance walked down the stairs and sat opposite them. Your grandma is asleep. Now tell me, what's the deal with Ethan Hayes? How is he the Hayes family's young master? Is it a scam? Chloe looked grim. Mia isn't that stupid. A lie like this can't be kept up forever. The Hayes family does have a young master. Mrs. Vance was furious, but didn't dare wake Grandma Vance. Then what is Ethan playing at? Vance Group and Hayes Group have always been rivals. Did he hide his identity to marry you for some ulterior motive? Nathan tried to comfort her. Don't worry, Mrs. Vance. Even if he had a plan, it's useless now. Chloe already divorced him. He seemed comforting but was actually adding fuel to the fire. Mrs. Vance got even more riled up, muttering about whether I had stolen any Vance Group secrets. Chloe sat there with her eyes lowered. Her temples throbbed. She felt like something was missing in her heart. Besides anger, she felt a sense of loss. Amidst her chaotic thoughts, she moved slightly. She snapped out of it and met Nathan's concerned eyes. Chloe, let's go back. Let Mrs. Vance rest early. After muttering for a long time, seeing her daughter spaced out, Mrs. Vance warned, be careful. I don't think that man has good intentions. Chloe was annoyed. He stayed in the Vance family for 2 years. If he wanted something, he would have taken it by now. What do you mean by that? Nathan's eyes darkened as he stepped in to smooth things over. Chloe, try to understand her. Ethan ruined her birthday party today. She's in a bad mood. Chloe didn't say anything else. Leaving the Vance estate, they drove to Nathan's place. He hesitated. Chloe, I'm all alone at home. Can you stay with me? In the driver's seat, Chloe stayed silent and still. Nathan gritted his teeth and got out alone. Mrs. Vance's birthday party became the talk of Riverdale. Everyone now knew that I, the young master of the Hayes family, had once married Chloe. It was huge gossip. By the time they heard it, we were already divorced. Rumors started flying everywhere. Meanwhile, I was comfortably resting at home. Having partied all night recently, Mia now banned me from going out at night. I took the chance to pick up my old craft. In my bedroom, I held a small camera filming the desk. The desk was covered with an array of open cosmetics. After explaining their uses, I set the camera tripod on the desk, facing myself. Today, I'll teach you special effects makeup. In many movies and shows, you can see actors looking like they've gained 100 pounds. I picked up a box of skin wax. After a quick tutorial, I slowly molded my bone structure and skin to look like a woman's. Then I introduced the makeup one by one, applying ivory foundation. After finishing the makeup, I put on a wig. A living, breathing ancient beauty appeared on screen. After recording, I also showed how to remove the makeup. These skills were actually essential for my job as a mortician. So a mortician's makeup skills are sometimes much better than a professional makeup artist's. I finished up and uploaded the video to my account. I recently created a few short video accounts. I shared makeup tutorials and occasional health tips. My goal was simple: to clear the name of the lonely mortician profession. The first step was to expand my influence. After uploading, I curled up on the couch with my phone, though it had only been a dozen days because my early videos showed extreme before and after transformations. The stats were great. The platform kept pushing them, and I already had over 100,000 followers. This rapid growth made many companies reach out to me privately. In the afternoon, I leaned on the couch, engrossed in a rare book. It was a rare Song Dynasty manuscript of ancient Chinese medicine, called the Treatise of 10,000 Prescriptions. I was reading intently when my phone rang. I checked it. It was Lucas. Ethan, tonight, Sapphire Club. Let's go. I replied lazily. Mia won't let me out at night. If you want to hang, make it early. Early? You want to go to Sapphire Club for breakfast? Why is Mia so bossy? Ignore her. I'll pick you up tonight. I'd been home for days and was pretty much fully recovered. I thought about it. Life was getting a bit too bland. I still needed some nightlife. Fine, don't pick me up. I'll sneak out myself. At 8:30 p.m., I had dinner with my mom and sister. Acting as good as usual, I went back to my second-floor bedroom to sleep. Having behaved for half a month, they didn't suspect a thing. At 9 p.m., I dropped a rope ladder from the second floor, climbed down smoothly, and slipped out the back door. Afraid of waking them, I took a cab straight to Sapphire Club. Half an hour later, I sat next to Lucas, holding a juice, my mouth twitching. Lucas accidentally bumped my arm, making me spill my drink. Red wine splashed all over my shirt. I got up to clean up in the restroom. A female model followed me out. I turned and saw Chloe walking over from a distance. Chloe was here for business and just wanted some fresh air. She walked out and saw a tall man nearby, pulling a female model out of the restroom. This was common at the club. But when she heard the man's voice, "How can you work in this industry being so innocent?" Chloe felt like she'd been struck by lightning. She suppressed her anger, a mocking look appearing on her face. "What are you doing?" I was just patting the model's shoulder. But seeing Chloe and hearing her provocation, I decided to go all in and wrapped my arm around the model's waist. "What else would I be doing here?" Chloe stared at my hand, her voice icy. "Great acting, Mr. Hayes. Didn't know you were so wild before." I squeezed the model's waist, laughing arrogantly. "There's a lot you didn't know. After all, your eyesight isn't great." I turned to leave with the model. Seeing this toxic jerk pissed me off, wasting 2 good years of my youth. The model was terrified. I pulled her and she obediently followed. As we passed each other, my wrist was grabbed tightly. I looked up. Chloe was holding me, her eyes dark and cold. "What did you do with her in the restroom?" I frowned and tried to shake her off, but she held on tight. I narrowed my eyes and turned to the model. "Go back first. Wait for me." The model hesitated but went back. Once she was out of sight. "Go back first. Wait for me." The model hesitated but went back. Once she was out of sight. I turned to Chloe. "I'll give you one chance. Let go." Chloe didn't budge. I sneered and stopped struggling. Using the force of her grip, I swiftly dodged past her, grabbed her hand, found the right angle, and flipped her over my back. Clean and crisp. Chloe hit the ground, her vision going dark. After throwing her, I clapped my hands and turned to leave. I took one step and my ankle was grabbed. Chloe laughed out of pure anger, suppressing her rage. "Very good. Turns out you've got some moves." I raised an eyebrow and swiftly lifted my foot, aiming to stomp her hand. Chloe was ready. She sprang up, dodging sharply, and pinned me against the wall, exuding a bossy aura. I looked down at Chloe. Her face was inches from mine. "Still wanna fight?" I gritted my teeth in anger, narrowed my eyes, and thought fast. "You're hurting me." Chloe's face was cold, wondering what trick I was pulling now. But her grip instinctively loosened a bit. The next second, I grabbed a vase from the sink and smashed it hard at her. Remembering she was the Vance CEO, I didn't aim for her head, just her back. Landing the hit, I didn't even have time to look back. I bolted toward the private room. I ran all the way back. Sapphire Club was in Riverdale, but too close to the Vance family's turf. I just ambushed her. There might be trouble later. I told the models in the room, "Everyone out." Then I looked at the shivering model in the corner. "Come help me carry him." The model obediently helped up the sleeping Lucas and followed me out of the club. "Come help me carry him." The model obediently helped up the sleeping Lucas. Following me out of the club, it was already late at night. We didn't drive here and couldn't even get a cab now. Just as I was panicking, a red Ferrari pulled up. Stella had one hand on the steering wheel and one arm resting on the window. "We really are fated." I immediately ordered the model, "Put him in the back seat." She obediently and quickly put Lucas in the back seat. I hopped into the passenger seat. Stella looked at me. I settled in, turned to the model and frowned. Chloe saw her face too. If she can't find me, she might take it out on her. "Get in." The model got in without a word. Stella glared from the driver's seat. "What are you doing? Kidnapping Lucas?" I didn't say a word to Stella. I just got things done without even looking at her. "Drive." Stella caught a glimpse of a familiar figure running out of the club. She smirked. "All right, split the ransom with me later." The red Ferrari sped off. On the road, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Stella slowed down. "Little brother, you owe me big time." I rested my eyes, fighting back nausea. The fast drive made me too sick to talk. Stella smiled. "If you want to repay me, buy me a late-night snack." In the back, Lucas woke up and threw up. Stella freaked out. "Get his head out the window." The model's aggrieved voice rang out. Too late. Stella slammed on the brakes. The car stopped. She turned to Lucas in the back. "Damn it, I'm a germaphobe. Get him out of here." The sudden stop pushed me over the edge. Covered my mouth and gagged. Stella stared at me in horror. "Hold it in, bro." Took me a while to recover. The car reeked. Stella tossed back some wet wipes and tissues. The model diligently cleaned up the mess. We rolled down the windows. The appetite for snacks was gone. Resigned, she drove Lucas home first. Then she dropped me off. Before leaving, she acted all weak. Remember, you owe me, bro. In the night breeze outside the Hayes estate, the model and I stared at each other. Her eyes were clear and bright. I rubbed my forehead. What's your name? I'm Zoe. Zoe Brooks. Why are you a club model? Zoe looked nervous. It was my first time today. A classmate invited me. Said I just needed to drink. And I'd earn a month's living expenses. I frowned. How naive. Good thing she ran into Lucas and me. If she met some hardcore creeps, she wouldn't be so naive anymore. My voice grew stern. You're over 20, right? Don't you know what happens to club models? You just believe whatever they say? Which college are you from? Zoe panicked, her big eyes tearing up. Riverdale University. I had no choice. I need money. My sister is sick. I softened a bit. I got Zoe's contact info and transferred her $10,000. Find a place to stay tonight. I'll call you tomorrow. We'll talk then. Zoe held her phone, her young mind struggling. She left, looking back with every step. I climbed the rope ladder back to my bedroom, rolled it up and shoved it under the bed. After washing up, I was dead tired in bed. My phone buzzed a few times. I glanced at it. An unknown number. I just turned it off and went to sleep. The next day, I was busy all morning. After posting my videos, I remembered my phone. I turned it on. 5 missed calls. The unknown number looked familiar. Worried it was the funeral home, I called back. A cold female voice answered. It was Chloe. Her voice was highly recognizable. Even over the phone, it carried a chill. I hung up instantly and blocked her. Thinking of last night still pissed me off. But as I thought about it, I remembered the model I'd forgotten about. I added her contact last night, right? I checked my phone. She had sent 2 messages. Are you there? Zoe Brooks transferred $9,950 to you. I frowned and replied. Yes. Free at 2 p.m. Zoe replied instantly. Yes. I sent the address of my usual cafe. It was almost 1 p.m. I got ready, told my mom, and drove to the cafe. The cafe wasn't far from Hayes Tower. Zoe was already there when I arrived. She sat there looking uneasy. Her big eyes darted around nervously. When she saw me, her eyes instantly lit up. She quickly stood up. Hey, I chuckled. This isn't boot camp. Sit down. We sat down. I waved my phone. I gave you money for a room. Why return it? I found a cheap motel for $15 a night. I still had some cash on me. Thank you. I frowned. Riverdale was booming. It was a top-tier city. I didn't expect there to be such cheap motels. I didn't see clearly last night, but in today's bright sunlight, her delicate features looked especially radiant. Standing up just now, she looked almost 5 feet 7 inches. Her only flaw was being too skinny. I remembered what she said last night. You said you took that job for your sister. Tell me more. Zoe lowered her head and told me her story. I thought I had a heart of stone, but even I felt sympathetic. The Brooks were intellectuals, but their parents died early. Zoe's sister worked her way through school and just became a professor at Riverdale University. But for some unknown reason, she attempted suicide there. She jumped off the highest building. She survived but fell into a vegetative state, kept alive by life support. In the ICU. Even with deductions, it cost thousands a day. Zoe was still a junior in college. She sold off all the family assets, but eventually hit rock bottom. So she became a club model through a classmate. I pondered for a long time after hearing this. Did the hospital say where your sister was injured? Vegetative states usually mean brain damage. Zoe looked down, her voice sad. They said there's a blood clot in her brain. We have to wait and see. She might eventually become brain dead. But there's also hope she'll wake up. It's hard to say. I got the picture and studied Zoe. You study photography, right? Want a part-time job? Zoe clenched her fists and gathered her courage. Are you trying to be my sugar daddy? My eye twitched. I don't have that in mind. Zoe looked relieved, yet slightly disappointed. Then what part-time job do you mean? I pulled up my short video account on my phone. I've been making videos lately. I have a few accounts. But I know nothing about photography. Sometimes the lighting is off, and it doesn't show the real effect. Want to be my assistant? Zoe nodded firmly. Yes. I laughed. You're not even asking about the pay? You're a good guy. I trust you. You trust people too easily. But since you agree, report to my house tomorrow. A 3-day trial. If you pass, I'll cover your sister's hospital bills, plus an extra $3,000 a month for living expenses. Zoe froze, then nodded excitedly. Then she bit her lip and shook her head. You might not know, My sister's bills are thousands a day. I know. You could hire a pro photographer. For way less than that. Zoe, everyone hits rock bottom sometimes. If you feel like you're in the dark, you should grab the only hope you have. This isn't the time to be polite. If you think I'm paying too much, when your sister gets better, you can work for me for free for a few years. I smiled gently. Zoe clenched her hands till her knuckles turned white. Okay, you gave me a ray of light in my darkest hour. Not just a few years. If my sister really recovers, I'll work for you for free for the rest of my life. Zoe and I chatted for a bit. I advanced her $100,000 for the hospital bills and sent her the Hayes estate address. I also got her sister's room number. Zoe stood up. Ethan, I'm going to class now. I'll be on time tomorrow. I smiled and waved. Go on. After Zoe left, I sat alone in the cafe. I grabbed my phone, typed quickly, and entered another system. I quickly contacted the director of Riverdale General Hospital. Dr. Evans, I heard you have a patient named Anna Brooks. I'd like to see her medical records. He replied instantly. Dr. Smith, I'll send them right away. Then he asked timidly, Dr. Smith, are you free lately? We have a lot of new doctors back from overseas. Do you have time to give a lecture? I typed, maybe later. I'm a bit busy right now. He quickly sent over Anna's records. Dr. Evans sent a boomer emoji. If you're busy, you must be doing some top-secret medical research. I get it. Since Dr. Evans made up an excuse for me, I just replied with a yeah. I opened Anna's records and read them. It was tricky but not a huge deal. I knew what to do. I closed the records and switched my phone back to the normal system. The afternoon sun was cozy. I stretched. The TV in the cafe played a broadcast, starring rising actor Nathan and pop diva Harper. My hand holding the coffee cup paused. I frowned deeply. I looked up at the TV nearby. It was showing the lead actor's promo shots. I clicked my tongue. What a fake lead. I'd seen a lot of news about Nathan lately. He used to be a total nobody. Then somehow he got insanely lucky. A Bridgeport tycoon adopted him, and he became a rich young master overnight. 3 years later, the tycoon suddenly died. Nathan inherited millions and went abroad to polish his image. After he came back, his resources skyrocketed. Lately, he's been everywhere. I narrowed my eyes. The reason his career took off was probably my ex-wife helping behind the scenes. I lost my memory, so I didn't plan to deal with those two scumbags. But letting Nathan play my male lead, that made me sick. I picked up my phone and made a call. I'm not happy with the male lead. Yes, he has to go. Sunlight shone through the glass onto my face. I said casually, can't replace him? Then don't shoot it. Wait, I'll replace him right now. I smiled and got polite. Great, I'll treat you to dinner sometime. TSK, I still haven't even seen your real face. That polite act is way too fake. Elaine Parker was an award-winning, respected director. She was in her 40s. We met online by chance. We were like close friends despite the age gap, but we'd never met. I loved martial arts novels, but good ones had become rare. So when inspiration hit, I wrote one myself. After a few years, Moonblade became a martial arts classic. Everyone thought the author of Moonblade had to be a man in his 40s or 50s, someone weathered by life. I never wanted my identity known, so I never corrected them. Besides Elaine, no one in the world knew who I was. At Astra Media, Nathan had just returned from an interview. He saw the director and the female lead discussing something. He smiled, sat beside Elaine and said, Director, Nathan wanted to build a good relationship with her. Rumor said Director Parker had a strange temper, but since her work won awards, he put up with it. Elaine glanced back, her tone flat. Mr. Grant, we need to inform you of something. What? We may have to replace the male lead. Nathan shot to his feet. What? He had just happily finished an interview. Replacing him right after. That was a public slap in the face. Why? The author of Moonblade requested it. Nathan got worked up. The author? Rowan Vale. What right does he have to decide casting? Elaine hadn't liked Nathan to begin with. But Vance Group was the show's biggest investor. They recommended Nathan, so she reluctantly agreed. Now that she could replace him, she felt much better. Rowan Vale is our partner. He said if we don't replace the lead, he'll pull out. Then we lose the rights. At that point, there won't even be a show to shoot. Compared to that, even if Vance Group pulled funding, she had to replace him. Nathan was furious. It's already announced everywhere. Are you trying to humiliate me? Unfortunately, his protest was useless. Elaine and Harper Stone left one after another. His agent held him back, stopping him from chasing after them. Going after Director Parker won't help. She's a top director. Don't offend her. She's not the one trying to replace you. If I can't be the lead, This show won't go smoothly. I'll make Vance Group pull out. Let's see how they shoot with no money. The agent hesitated. Vance Group invested in this show because of the huge profits it could bring. Recommending Nathan was just a bonus. Getting them to pull out? Ms. Vance might not agree. At the Vance estate, for 3 days straight, my transformation videos blew up online. My followers multiplied like crazy. I set up a studio on the first floor at home. Every afternoon, Zoe came over on time to film. After filming, Zoe edited the footage. I sat beside her, scrolling through comments. Within just a few days, people got very curious about the person always talking to me. Someone asked if Zoe was my girlfriend. I replied directly, "Nope, she's my assistant. A pretty little sister." By now, I had nearly 1 million followers. While replying, I also noticed some negative comments. I sneered and ignored them, but Zoe saw them while uploading the video. She couldn't stand people attacking her idol, so she immediately uploaded a bunch of cut behind-the-scenes clips and close-up HD shots of me doing makeup. Neither Zoe nor I expected that video to shoot straight to trending. It was the weekend. I slept until noon when Lucas's call woke me up. "Mr. Lucas, what do you want on a weekend?" His loud voice came through. "Ethan Hayes, you're trending. Did you know?" Before I could ask, I suddenly heard his dad roar, "Lucas, where's my clay teapot?" Lucas instantly hung up. My heart pounded. Why was I suddenly trending? I opened social media. The internet was already buzzing. Under the trending topic, all my old makeup videos had been reposted. Praise kept flooding in. I held my head, feeling a headache. I did want more influence, but I didn't expect to trend like this. But Zoe meant well. I pressed my lips together and decided not to take it down. I got up and washed up. After lunch, I got a message from Zoe. "Did I cause trouble for you?" I was studying the treatise of 10,000 prescriptions and casually replied, "No." But unlike me, a whole lot of people couldn't stay calm. My followers surged on every short video platform. My DMs were full of offers asking me to debut. Some platforms even invited me to sign with them. After looking around, I saw a familiar name. "Hi, Busy Ethan. I'm Director Parker. I saw your short videos on trending. I'd like to invite you to audition for the male lead in Moonblade." I laughed and replied, "Not interested in debuting. Thanks." The internet was in a frenzy. I stayed relaxed until that afternoon when the online mood suddenly shifted. A wave of people flooded the trending topic to steer the narrative. "This Busy Ethan is such a schemer. He even bought a trending spot." I check trending topics for real news. We should care about people's lives. How can some tiny influencer buy his way onto trending now? His videos make me sick. Transformation videos? Just cheap attention bait. I scrolled through the comments, frowning. 1 or 2 haters didn't matter. But these people were clearly organized, like paid promo accounts pushing an agenda. Beyond some reasoned criticism, most comments were pure lies. Some even claimed to be my high school classmates and exposed fake dirt on me. I kept scrolling, my eyes narrowing. Someone was targeting me, but I hadn't offended many people. Only one person would target me like this and have access to paid trolls. Nathan. I flipped up from the couch. I was about to go back to my room and look into it, when Mia came back, looking furious. "Ethan Hayes, when did you start a video account? Didn't you say that studio was for improving your craft? So this is what you were filming?" I smiled guiltily. "Mia, hear me out. As the young master of the Hayes family, I had been heavily protected since childhood. Aside from families close to us, few people in Riverdale had seen me. There was no information about me online, let alone photos. Though I never understood Mom and Mia's overprotectiveness, I still lived quietly for my family. I explained everything to Mia for a long while. I even acted cute, but that only made her angrier. I narrowed my eyes, my gaze sharpening. "Keep this up, and I'll run away from home." Mia's eyes widened. She choked, then started cursing the online trolls. "Want me to take the trend down?" "No, let them talk." Before the trolls came in, taking it down might have worked. But now it would only make me look guilty. Halfway through talking with Mia, my phone rang. I glanced at it. Another unknown number. I answered, and a cold voice came through. It was Chloe. This time she got straight to the point. "Grandma wants to see you." My hand paused before hanging up. I had a good impression of Grandma Vance from last time. Though I had amnesia, judging by how much she cared for me, she must have looked after me a lot these past 2 years. I felt close to the old lady, but Chloe's attitude made it seem like I'd come whenever she called. I narrowed my eyes, thinking of the trending mess. "I'll go on one condition. Someone hired trolls to smear me online. Find out who's behind it, and I'll see Grandma. Deal?" The other end went silent for a few seconds. When her voice came again, it was even colder. "Fine. Claire Bennett will pick you up in half an hour." "Who's Claire Bennett?" I was about to ask, but she had already hung up. I gritted my teeth, wanting to curse. I turned and saw Mia staring at me suspiciously. Who called? I didn't plan to hide it. Chloe. Mia got mad the second she heard the name. You're going to see her? I thought of the old lady I met last time. My voice softened. Not her. Her grandma. Chloe may be awful, but her grandma was probably good to me. If the old lady wants to see me, I should go. Mia looked worried, but I didn't think much of it. 20 minutes later, that unknown number sent a picture. It was a chat log showing a man named Mason buying paid trolls. Half an hour later, the gate staff at the Hayes estate called. They said someone named Claire Bennett had come to pick me up. I got into Claire's car and headed to the Vance estate. She drove slowly. I noticed Claire glancing at me through the rearview mirror from time to time. I smiled slightly. You're Chloe's assistant? Yes. Claire was respectful. As Chloe's assistant, she had met me a few times before. In her memory, I always spoke softly. In front of Ms. Vance, I was always the perfect husband. But now, even though my style was the same as before, I lounged lazily in the back seat with no proper posture, yet somehow gave off elegance and a faint pressure. I chatted with Claire along the way and casually got some past details out of her. The more I heard, the angrier I got. In Claire's words, Chloe was practically a goddess. If the business world was a ruthless chessboard, then Chloe was the god moving pieces from above. That toxic Vance woman sure had a high reputation. At the Vance estate, Grandma Vance sat in the living room, smiling as she pulled Chloe over to look at a tablet. On the tablet was busy Ethan's account. Grandma Vance kept praising it. My grandson-in-law is so handsome. I didn't know his makeup skills were this good. Chloe sat beside her, coldly watching the person on the screen. She watched the lively, radiant person in the video. Grandma Vance opened the comments under the video. The hate from social media hadn't reached the platform yet. The comments were all praise. Grandma Vance looked proud. My grandson-in-law is so cute. Everyone says he's handsome. A trace of mockery flashed in Chloe's eyes. When I entered the living room, I heard Grandma Vance laughing. Ethan's here. I glanced at Chloe behind Grandma Vance. Even in casual loungewear, she still had that cool, refined air. Disgust flashed across my face. Then I turned to Grandma Vance with a bright smile. Grandma, did you miss me? Grandma Vance held my hand with both hands and led me to the couch. Of course. It's been so long, and you never came to see me. Did you forget all about me? Her pouty anger made me laugh. Hey, no way. I think about you every day. I wanted to come see you. Chloe wouldn't let me. Chloe took the blame out of nowhere, her face turning colder. I was sure she hadn't dared tell Grandma about the divorce, so I laid it on thick. The more Grandma Vance heard, the angrier she got. She turned and waved her hand like she was about to hit someone. All you do is bully Ethan. If you drive away such a good husband, I'll kick you out of the Vance family. Facing Grandma, Chloe's voice softened. I know, Grandma. She turned to me. That usually sharp, icy face suddenly smiled. Like spring thawing ice, her dark eyes seemed to pull me in. I froze for a second. Then a chill ran down my spine. Creepy as hell. I chatted with Grandma Vance a bit longer, then heard noise outside. I looked up and saw Mrs. Vance walk in with Nathan. They seemed to have just gone shopping. The maids behind them carried bags. The second Mrs. Vance saw me, she frowned. Why are you here? I glanced at her calmly and said nothing. Grandma Vance frowned. What kind of thing is that to say? This is Ethan's home. Why can't he be here? Mrs. Vance hesitated. Nathan stepped up and whispered something to her. Only then did Mrs. Vance's face ease a little. At least you know how to behave. Nathan turned to greet me. Hey, Ethan. I didn't even spare him a glance and turned to Grandma Vance. Grandma. Who's this? Grandma Vance didn't know about Chloe and Nathan. She smiled. A friend of Chloe's. I repeated it meaningfully. I smiled at Nathan. A friend, huh? You look old enough. Do you have a girlfriend? Nathan's face darkened. He looked to Chloe for help. Chloe smoothed her brow. Ethan Hayes, it's late. Let's head back. It was afternoon when I left. Now it was already dark. Grandma Vance reluctantly walked me to the door. She watched us get in before the car left the Vance estate. I sat in the back seat. I wanted to move away from that toxic Vance woman, but the back seat was only so big. Her pressure filled the whole car. We hadn't gone far when a BMW caught up. Chloe. Nathan got out and stood beside the car. He looked pitiful, like he'd suffered some huge injustice. I narrowed my eyes. Chloe rolled down the window. Why did you come out? Nathan looked at me inside the car. I need to talk to you. It's on the way. Ethan won't mind if I ride along, right? Heh, I do. Your fake innocent act reeks. Nathan looked flustered. Standing outside the window, he rushed to explain. Ethan, do you have some misunderstanding about me? I really want us to get along. After all, you're Chloe's ex-husband. I looked up at Nathan. Then I dropped a bomb. Get along with me? Are you worthy? Spent a lot hiring trolls, didn't you? Nathan's face stiffened. Ethan, what are you talking about? What trolls? On the way here, I'd already traced Mason's IP address. It was buried deep, but after layer, I finally identified the person who posted the job. It was one of Nathan's personal assistants. I sneered. If you don't want people to know, don't do it. After finding the person, I'd already taken all the evidence and posted screenshots under the trending topic. Nathan went pale and looked at Chloe. Chloe. Chloe got out and said to Claire, take him back to the Hayes estate. I turned and saw her take Nathan to the roadside. They were too far away, so I couldn't hear them. I could only see Nathan looking defeated. I sneered. Drive. Online, a storm had already erupted. It clearly showed someone had bought trolls to smear me. Back at Mrs. Vance's birthday party, some people in Riverdale had seen me. Soon, insiders started spilling our drama. Rising actor Nathan was a kept pretty boy who broke up a marriage. And busy Ethan, who hit #1 today, was actually Ethan Hayes, the young master of the Hayes family. The internet exploded. This gossip was huge. Everyone hated kept pretty boys. No wonder Nathan's resources kept skyrocketing. He got them by being someone's boy toy. Director Parker really has good taste. No wonder she replaced Nathan recently. Maybe this is why. Nathan's fans jumped into the fight. They made every excuse for their idol. That busy Ethan is a nobody. He's just bullying people with Hayes Group's power. This is capital oppressing our boy. I went back to my room, took a shower and checked again. The trending topic about it had suddenly been taken down. The heated discussion stopped cold. I narrowed my eyes and sneered. Chloe sure cared a lot about that scumbag. I had no interest in wasting time on those two. Taking it down was fine. If Mia saw me mixed up in this, I'd definitely get lectured. Celebrity scandals kept rolling online. But netizens remembered Nathan as a kept pretty boy. Advance Group. Chloe looked at the tablet in front of her. She was on a short video platform. She was watching an ad for a Vance product. She swiped down and landed on a live stream. She was about to swipe back, but froze when she saw the face. Her finger stopped. I looked into the camera as if I were looking at her. Smiling, I was explaining some makeup tips. Chloe frowned slightly. She didn't tap into the stream. She just stayed on the page. A female voice suddenly came from the video. Ethan, it's time to end the stream. I answered. Chloe narrowed her eyes. A cold, dangerous air surrounded her. That voice wasn't Mia. Her hand instinctively entered the live stream. Comments were rolling across the screen. Ethan, let us see your female assistant. She sounds cute. I've been thirsting over your assistant forever. Haha. All kinds of comments asked the assistant to appear. On camera, I laughed. I looked at someone off screen. Zoe, mind showing your face? There was no reply, but a young girl appeared on camera. The comments flew by. When Chloe saw the girl's face, her expression turned cold. It was that club model, my ex-husband. Keeps exceeding my expectations. Hiring a club model as his assistant? Chloe sneered. On the other side, I watched Zoe smile at the camera. My little assistant is shy. A notification suddenly flew across the screen. Vance sent busy Ethan 2 starships. I stared at the word Vance and fell into thought. Chloe probably wasn't that bored. She wouldn't come send me gifts, right? At Vance Group, Chloe's brows were tightly furrowed. Her cool eyes carried a chill. When the model appeared, she had the urge to let me know that she had seen me with her. Just then, someone knocked. Chloe looked up. Claire walked in with Nathan. Claire looked helpless. Ms. Vance, Mr. Grant wants to see you. Chloe's expression was flat. Got it. You may leave. After Claire left, Nathan stepped forward with red eyes. Chloe, I contacted Director Parker again. The crew is already confirming a new lead. Chloe looked cold. I know. Nathan stepped closer, looking wronged. But everyone online is laughing at me. They say I broke up your marriage. And that's why Director Parker replaced me. If I really lose this role, won't that just prove them right? Chloe, can you? Chloe looked at his pitiful face. For the first time, he felt like a stranger. At some point, Nathan had changed. She spoke without showing emotion. I'll arrange other resources for you. This show has been fully handed to Elaine Parker. She's the professional. If she thinks you're not right for the lead. Nathan panicked. But Director Parker said I was perfect. It's the author of Moonblade. Rowan Vale is the one demanding a recast. Director Parker was regretful too. She said she was forced to do it. Nathan was sure Chloe wouldn't ask Elaine. She had always trusted him. Chloe frowned slightly. Vance Group valued its investment in this show. She thought for a moment. I'll handle this. Go home for now. Nathan's eyes flickered. Rowan Vale was just some middle-aged man who wrote martial arts novels. With Vance Group applying pressure, the male lead of Moonblade would definitely be his again. Since he had her promise, he quickly changed the subject. Chloe, have you been busy lately? They had barely seen each other lately. This wasn't a good sign. Chloe had clearly said that after divorcing Ethan, she would start planning their wedding. But since Mrs. Vance's party, she hadn't mentioned it again. He felt uneasy. Chloe's eyes were cool. Not really. Nathan nervously pinched her sleeve. Then why haven't you come to see me? Are you still mad about what I did to Ethan? Chloe, I only did it because I care too much. You know you're all I have now. I'm scared of losing you, of you loving someone else. As Nathan spoke, seeing Chloe's face still cold, he used his trump card. Chloe, you know I'd give my life for you. Memories from years ago rushed back. Chloe's voice softened a little. I know. Back then, Nathan had been brave and fearless, pulling her back from death. But she wasn't stupid either. At the birthday party, I exposed one side of Nathan. After that, it was like a hole had been poked in paper. And that hole kept getting bigger. At the birthday party, I exposed one side of Nathan. After that, it was like a hole had been poked in paper. And that hole kept getting bigger. When I asked her to find who hired the trolls, Claire traced it step by step and found Mason. She never expected it to be Nathan's assistant. Chloe realized she might never have known the real Nathan. Just like she'd never understood me. With Claire's top-tier hacking skills, even she hit a wall after finding Mason. But Ethan Hayes could, in such a short time, have someone uncover Mason's real identity. Why did he hide his identity to marry me? Chloe frowned deeply, her aura icy. Seeing her zone out, Nathan's heart jumped. Chloe. Chloe only spaced out for a second before looking normal again. She called Claire in. Take him home. Nathan left looking wronged. Chloe sat in her office and rubbed her brow. No matter what, there was still their past. Helping Nathan now counted as repaying him. Find Rowan Vale's contact info. Claire froze. Rowan Vale. The man who wrote Moonblade. Claire agreed and left. But she didn't expect the search to take days. Every piece of Rowan Vale's online data was encrypted. Even after contacting the site's backend, she only got a phone number. And Rowan Vale's number was registered in Riverdale too. At the Hayes estate, I had just finished streaming and watched Zoe while removing my makeup. Zoe dutifully covered all the camera gear with dust covers. I chuckled. The housekeeper can do that later. Zoe shook her head. It's pro gear. Better be careful. To her, this gear was expensive, so of course she cherished it. Of course she cherished it. I smiled. Mia hasn't been giving you trouble lately, right? No. Don't worry. Ever since Mia found out I made beauty videos at home, she was unhappy. But under my pressure, she didn't dare say much. She just kept a sharp eye on Zoe, who came over every day. Whenever any woman came near me, Mia acted like a guard dog. I figured Chloe's betrayal had traumatized my sister. As we chatted, my phone rang. I picked it up, glanced at it, and raised a brow in surprise. I had modified this phone myself. Besides the main system, it had a hidden one. It also had multiple SIM slots so I could switch numbers anytime. The SIM getting the call was the one I used as Rowan Vale. Was the website calling? I answered and turned on the voice changer. Hello. A familiar voice came through. Hello. Just one word, yet that familiar chill hit me head on. I pulled the phone away to check the system, wondering if it had glitched. How did Chloe call Rowan Vale's number? After confirming the system was fine, I narrowed my eyes and pretended not to know. Who is this? This is Chloe Vance from Vance Group. Are you Mr. Vale? Yes. What can I do for you, Ms. Vance? Do you have time to discuss the casting for Moonblade? I'd like to talk with you. I sneered inwardly, thinking of when I made Director Parker replace the lead. So Chloe was calling to fight Nathan's battle. My voice turned cold. The voice changer made it sound even harsher. There's nothing to discuss. She paused. I trust Director Parker's judgment. She paused. I trust Director Parker's judgment. She thinks Nathan is right for the male lead. Mr. Vale, I'm sure you want your work to be shown at its best. I don't think he fits. I didn't explain further. Her voice turned cold. Investors have casting rights too. I hope you understand that. Then why call me? Pull your funding if you can. I ended the call and tossed the phone on the table, irritated. Advanced Group. Chloe stared coldly at the ended call. She hadn't treated it as a big deal and was still reviewing documents. Her phone was on speaker beside her. She didn't expect such a rogue. Claire stood nearby, wishing she could unhear it. In all these years, it was her first time seeing Ms. Vance get hung up on. That pull your funding if you can sounded downright thuggish. Claire carefully stepped forward, watching Chloe frown at her phone. Ms. Vance. Should I call back? No. Then should we pressure the director? Chloe shook her head, frowning. She had promised Nathan. But pressuring Elaine would be useless. The problem was Rowan Vale. As an investor, Chloe knew the author had signed a contract. He hadn't sold the rights, only licensed the adaptation. He did have casting rights. Chloe's face darkened. Rowan Vale is from Riverdale. Keep digging. I'll meet him in person. Face-to-face works best. If not, I'll buy Moonblade for a high price. Claire looked miserable. What kind of tasks had Ms. Vance been giving her lately? She'd spent days on Rowan Vale and still hadn't found his real identity. Same with Mr. Hayes's hospital records before. Claire, usually flawless at work, felt her luck had gone bad. Chloe narrowed her eyes. During the call, she had heard music in the background. A familiar instrumental track, the same one from my last livestream. It was an extremely niche piece. Chloe knew my online following had surged lately. So Rowan Vale was also his fan? After work, Chloe returned to Pinecrest. She entered, and the butler stepped up to take her coat. Chloe went to the bedroom. The scent inside was different. Chloe frowned slightly and called the butler. Did you change the incense? No, ma'am. It's still agarwood. Chloe used to get frequent headaches. After using calming agarwood incense, they slowly eased. The woody scent helped her focus. Chloe walked to the incense burner. Thin white smoke curled from the bronze burner into mist. She opened it and looked. The butler explained softly, Mr. Hayes used to prepare the agarwood himself. The ingredients are the same, but someone else handled them. Chloe's hand paused. You may go. The butler left the room. Chloe looked at the incense still burning. For the first time, she looked around their marital bedroom. Before, even when she came home, she mostly slept in the guest room. The room had been carefully cleaned. There was no trace that I had ever lived here. She entered the walk-in closet. In the huge, elegant closet, only a few clothes hung sparsely. Her brows knitted. In the accessory cabinet, there was only one ring and one watch. The ring was their wedding band, carefully placed in the center of a velvet box. The watch was from Grandma. She looked toward the wardrobe. In the half-open wardrobe were a few shirts she often saw me wear. Aside from that, only 2 sets of pajamas were left. Only now did she suddenly realize. She had never truly paid attention to me. During their 2-year marriage, most times she saw me were when she needed me to visit the old estate. At the Hayes estate, I was soaking in the tub. A faint fragrance filled the air. I thought of the agarwood scent on Chloe. The first time I smelled it, that soft, steady woody scent, caught my attention. I could tell it was my own work. Looks like I really did put my heart into Chloe these past 2 years. Probably to keep me from going back to that mess. Whenever Mia mentioned the past, she looked deeply disappointed in me. I pieced together bits of the past from her words. Basically, I hid my identity and lived poorly after marrying Chloe. Mia tried to help, but I refused, afraid my identity would be exposed. And besides being broke, I probably took plenty of crap too. After my bath, I dried my hair and returned to my bedroom. My bedroom connected to a small study. As soon as I stepped out, I heard music coming from the study. It was my alarm music. I frowned and entered the study. A red warning box popped up on the computer. Someone was trying to break into my encrypted data system. I sat at the computer, fingers flying across the keyboard. Soon, I successfully entered their back end. All my online data had been encrypted by me personally. This time, they were trying to crack Rowan Vale's identity. I laughed out of anger. Great. It was obvious who did this. Chloe had hit a wall with Rowan Vale, and still wouldn't give up. What did she want? My address. After hacking back into their computer, I checked the network address. Vance Group. I decided to teach Chloe a lesson. I found a photo of her from an interview online, edited it a little and posted it on Vance Group's official site. After that, I reinforced my firewall again, and left the room feeling very pleased. After getting into bed, I picked up my phone and messaged Elaine. Chloe may keep investigating me for Nathan. She failed this time, but I can't underestimate Vance Group. Chloe's own ability was also top-notch. I typed, let's discuss something. What is it? Go ahead, Rowan. Find Moonblade a new investor. What? Rowan, do you know how hard investors are to find? With your fame, shouldn't investors be lining up with cash? This is a huge production. It costs a fortune. Very few companies here dare take that plunge. No problem. I'll fund it. After a few silent seconds, Elaine sent a question mark. I confidently sent back a smiley face. I found you an investor. Hayes Group. Changing investors was huge. Contracts were signed and penalties might apply. I told Elaine Hayes Group would cover all losses. Then I sent her Mia's contact and lay down to rest. Early the next morning, my sister dragged me out of bed. You gave Elaine my contact? Yeah. I told her to ask you to invest in my Moonblade. Early the next morning, my sister dragged me out of bed. You gave Elaine my contact? Yeah. I told her to ask you to invest in my Moonblade. I blinked pitifully. Mia, you don't want to invest in me? Mia knew I was Rowan Vale. Can you follow proper procedure for once? Investments like this go to the investment team first. Then an executive follows up. And you just gave out my contact. I blinked. I thought I could just ask for their bank account. Mia glared at her brother, but her anger slowly faded. I told you I'd invest. You wouldn't listen and went to Elaine. Now she has to find a new investor. What a hassle. I acted cute with Mia, mainly because she picked Vance Group. And Vance Group wanted Nathan to star. I told her the whole story. I'm afraid Chloe will keep harassing me over this. If she finds out I'm Rowan Vale, what if she finds our home? Hearing that, Mia's face instantly darkened. She can dream on. I'm investing in this show. I'll spend whatever it takes, even if it makes no return. I won't let that toxic woman hurt my brother again. Mia stormed off, full of righteous anger. She went to the company to discuss investing in Moonblade. Finally free, I grabbed my phone and called Lucas. Lucas, let's meet up at noon. Lucas sounded pitiful. I can't go out. My dad grounded me for a month. Why? He froze my cards last time. So I sold that clay teapot he bought in the Capitol. I remembered that teapot was worth millions and clicked my tongue. Bro, gotta say, you've got guts. Lucas couldn't come out and I had nothing else to do. So I took out the treatise of 10,000 prescriptions and read. By afternoon, I drove out. On the way back, I passed Riverdale University. With nothing to do, I figured Zoe was about to finish class. So I drove to the gate, planning to give her a ride to the Hayes estate. Riverdale University had an open campus. Afternoon was perfect for dates and walks. Students without class came and went. I sat in the car, watching people glance over now and then. My G-Wagon was low-key by Hayes standards. But at the university gate, a six-figure car was pretty eye-catching. Probably some rich kid here to pick up a girl. Someone whispered nearby. I didn't lower the window, just smiled. My school life was short. I finished all my college courses in just 1 year. Seeing these bright young faces now, I felt a little jealous. I took out my phone to text Zoe, but her message came first. Ethan, something came up today. Can I take the day off? Sure. I started the car, ready to leave. Then I saw a familiar figure walk out of the school gate. Zoe was thin and aloof, with bruises at the corner of her mouth. I frowned at once. So this was her something. I cracked the window slightly. 2 boys followed behind Zoe, looking worried. Zoe, you should see the campus doctor. Man, your temper's too quick. Maya Collins was talking about the Hayes heir, not you. Why fight her? Her sister has gang connections. She won't let you off. Zoe's face was livid, and she ignored them. I caught the gist, got out and quietly followed. Zoe had barely left the gate when, behind some food stalls nearby, several young men stood up and surrounded her.